Welcome to the Viking Age podcast. It's the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Chris Schad. I write for the Viking Age as well as bring me the news, zone coverage, and the Brookings Register. My co-host is Adam Patrick, who is the managing editor of the Viking Age, and we do this every Monday with a late week episode right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're also on Apple and Spotify the very next day in podcast form, but however you consume the show, don't forget to rate, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can send the word to the masses. Okay, Adam, there are plenty of things I would like to talk about on this show, but unfortunately, we get paid to talk about the Vikings. The Vikings won 3-0 yesterday. That's the good news. How are you feeling about this team right now? Because I have some thoughts.
The defense is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw they're fifth now in points allowed and yards allowed. Yeah, the defense is good. It's kind of cool that they had the same score as them and the Wild won by the same score yesterday.
Yeah, people are pretty easily entertained by that. Yes.
That's probably never going to happen again. I
Look,
hope
they won by the same score. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
It is pretty funny, but not funny in like a haha kind of way. Yeah. Game balls for the whole defense. Ivan Pace is a freak. That backflip was insane. Just popped. He just did it. That's just in his repertoire. The keg stand celebration. A couple days after your offensive coordinator got arrested for DUI. Probably not the best. Yeah. Probably not the best decision, but it was creative. I'll give them that. They won. A win is a win, and they got a lot of work to do and fix until till next Sunday. Listen, Josh Dobbs, he's probably not going to be the quarterback moving forward. I think it's pretty obvious. Nick Mullins is going to be the guy. Kevin O'Connell said today he's still got to figure things out because I got back late from Vegas. What were you doing in Vegas? Why is it so late?
I don't know. Wes Phillips might have an idea, but
so he's got to look at the film to see if Mullins was better than Dobbs. I don't think you need to look at film for that. So Mullins will probably be the starter, which is fine. He can run the offense. He looked really good yesterday. In his limited reps, Nick Mullins looked like he had command of the offense or whatever, however you want to describe it. Addison was getting the ball, Hawkinson was getting the ball. He did not look like he was a deer in the headlights where Josh Dobbs pretty much did more and more every week. I felt like more and more that he learned the playbook. He looked more and more worried and confused every time he went on the field. And then, Justin Jefferson went out yesterday, so that didn't help at all either. And it sounds like he might actually play on Saturday. So let's hope they can score a touchdown because I don't think they have. Did they score a touchdown against the Bears? Oh, they had one. They had one drive.
Yes. Late.
Okay.
Late. Yeah.
Cool. So they've scored one touchdown in the last two games. So yeah, they need to get more points, and I think having Mullins out there it'll be better than Dobbs. I don't know how much better it'll be, but I'm not. I'll feel better when Mullins is out there. Now if he gets hurt, then they're in trouble. So yeah, it was interesting yesterday for sure. Painful for sure to watch.
Well, Adam's got a pizza in the oven again because he ran through the entire outline.
Oh, I did.
But we'll go over all those things. Yeah, sure. At least most of them.
I'm sorry.
Here's what I have because, a win is a win. That's something you mentioned. That's something I've heard a lot today when I've listened to all the other podcasts about the Vikings. So that is, yeah, I completely agree with that. Kevin O'Connell's post-game speech.
You called it.
Was something. Yes, I sent you. I should have posted it on Twitter. I don't know. I didn't look. I didn't like the way I looked, so that's why I didn't post it. I'm not good at holding the phone like at my face,
fine.
But
you're fine.
I basically said it was going to be something along the lines of, guys, we didn't play our best out there. Our offense was there, but our defense stepped up. Josh, I'm really sorry. I remind me of myself when I sucked as a quarterback in my career. Probably going to go to Mars, buddy. Get ready to learn Martian. Just so yeah, he basically went out there and was just like, yeah, offense.
And you gave the whole defense game balls, which is what he
didn't turn it over. Yeah, I gave the entire defense a game ball.
I know, he's like zero turnovers. Great job.
I miss the days when I just like watched the Vikings game and I like was just like happy they won, right?
Yeah.
Not now, like we're paid to get like analytical and start looking at like what schemes do they use and all this other stuff. And like when you're an adult, it's just like, all right, I've seen you guys like go 9-8 and go in the wild card round and Kirky say, oh, you like that in the locker room after Kyle Rudolph pushed off in the Superdome and all this stuff. Like, I don't hate people who just want the Vikings to win each and every week, but I want something more. And I got a text from a friend. Actually, it was 4 texts because he was just shooting them off rapid fire. But his exact words were, how do you not like it? You have fucking issues. Go be mad, you bitch. So apparently something's wrong with me because sorry for anybody with kids in the car. I should have warned you guys for that. But if you've listened to the show long enough, you know.
I was going to say, well, first off, right now, who's streaming in the car? That's impressive. But I guess you could listen to it afterwards.
LeBron was watching a whole bunch of games in the car yesterday.
In the car?
Yeah, he was in the back seat. But
all right, okay, that's
he was riding along, which Wes Phillips. I don't know if he knows that's possible, but yeah, if Wes is streaming this show, he's not going to like it.
Kevin is extremely disappointed in him, but he's going to continue coaching. Okay.
Here's the thing. Like, how many fucking rideshare apps are there now? Like, what is there? Uber, Lyft.
You can get a scooter.
Yeah, you can get some guy on a fucking bike to carry your drunk ass home. Those guys have like a hotline. It's just a dude just sitting there. Hey, like your job is like to pick up the phone if somebody gets hammered and give them a ride home.
He's what,
like that's it. And like you can't do it. Here's the other. He's a moron.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into that because he got pulled over for like tabs. Like if you're on the fence, like maybe you just be like, the tabs might actually, get me in the spotlight or whatever. It's dark. Screw it. I'll just do it. Like, come on, dude.
He's like, 40. He's 44. He should know better, right?
Right. And I mean, people lost their shit over Jordan Addison going, what was it, 150? And that's stupid too. That's stupid too. Yeah. But he was not hammered while doing it, and he was doing it at 3 a.m. Not condoning it. I'm just saying, Don't get in your car while drunk, especially when you have like 40, 50 other ways to get a ride home.
I mean, don't even. I mean, a lot of people.
I don't know. That just pisses me off.
A lot of people will disagree with it, but don't even get in the car after you had one drink. Like it's just not. It's not even worth it. Because you think you're fine, but you're not. We'll move on from that.
Sorry, no. It was just.
It's a topic. It's important. We can't brush it aside like the Vikings. It seems.
I'm glad you asked me that question. Right? Yeah. Did you not expect it? Like what? Okay.
Also, if you're Wes Phillips, why didn't you just wait till you got to Vegas? Like, why? Like, you get arrested in Minnesota, you're going to Vegas the next day.
Just do it the night before. Just Kevin O'Connell's got to be frustrated. It's like I'm trying to fix my offense. My offensive coordinator is getting ripped on Friday night.
Maybe that's it. That explains Ed Donatel's defense last year. But
did he draw the game plan on a cocktail napkin or what? Okay, we should probably get off of this. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's just go right into it. Let's go into Josh Dobbs, who played like he was drunk on Sunday.
Yeah.
Dobbs was more astronaut than pastronaut. 10 of 23, 63 yards, took 5 sacks. He threw an actual hospital ball to Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Not like, that's like a term, but he actually sent Justin Jefferson to the hospital because he threw it too high. Alexander Madison got hurt trying to haul in a Josh Dobbs pass, which actually sucks because he was doing stuff in this game. 10
He
carries
was.
for 66 yards, and Kevin O'Connell was just agonizing and whatever, and waited until 10 minutes into the fourth quarter to put Nick Mullins in. Mullins went in, led the game-winning drive, 9-13, 83 yards. But this is a hindsight business. This is, that is podcasting. Did Kevin O'Connell make the right decision by starting Josh Dobbs yesterday?
I mean, obviously not. Just really from the start, where they went 3 and out. I think they had the first play was like a zone read, and like, oh, look at that, and then it was just back to normal. It was like Kevin O'Connell was like, here you go, here's your zone
Josh
read.
Dobbs everybody in that stadium, in the Raiders stadium, knew he was throwing to Justin Jefferson on that hitch. Like, it was literally like, you ready, Justin? 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then Jack Jones should have had a pick 6.
Oh
but
my God. Yeah. The
Raiders, would have loved that, because that would have won the game. Like,
it would have. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. I understand why he did it, because it was like he played so well those first 2 games, and then he was decent against the Broncos, and they only lost by 1. But then he was terrible against the Bears, and he's literally the reason why they lost, because they only gave up 12 points to the Bears, and they lost by 2. So they definitely could have won if he didn't throw like 2 or 3 less interceptions. And we thought, we heard all about like Dobbs staying after and meeting with O'Connell and meeting with the quarterbacks coaches and really just collaborating and figuring out what needed to be fixed. And they go out and play, and it's the exact fucking same thing. Like nothing changed. Kevin O'Connell wants to run his offense, which is not like it's so weird, because he talks so much about like, or there's been so many rumors of the Vikings being involved with like trying to get a mobile quarterback. And it's like, why? It doesn't fit the offense. Like, I'm beginning to think that like this is maybe Kwesi's kind of thought, like, oh, this is the modern style. We need to get this kind of quarterback. Where Kevin O'Connell's like, no, I like Kirk Cousins. I like Matthew Stafford. I would take Matt Ryan right now, probably, if he was available. Joe Flacco, he's probably watching that and being like, oh my God, look at Joe Flacco.
He's available right now.
He's on the practice squad. You can sign
Yeah.
him, but he said that he doesn't want to sign. So he likes being. I mean, he's a starter.
So it's not like a waivers type deal.
No.
It's like he has
can
to
decide.
sign.
You can decide.
Yeah.
Because
sense.
most of the time, those guys leave the practice squad. Like when you hear about like, oh, so and so got signed, because they get an active roster spot. Like,
yeah.
Flacco knows he's already going to be on the active roster, because Kevin Stefanski yesterday said he's our starting quarterback for the rest of the season. It's more just like semantics, where like they can keep an extra roster spot open with him on the practice squad for another week. So that's why he's still on there. But yeah, like those kind of quarterbacks. So it makes you think like, okay, so when going in the drafts, maybe they would like a Bo Nix, or they would like a JJ McCarthy, and not really I guess Drake May would kind of fit that role too as well. And not the kid who just won the Heisman, and Caleb Williams.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, like I would love to see him on the Vikings, but judging from how Kevin O'Connell likes to run his offense, I don't think it would go that well. People are like, oh, maybe take a flyer on Fields or trade for Kyler Murray. Those wouldn't work, because he wants to run his offense. He wants you to, put guys in the right spots, quick drop back, decide where you're going to go and throw it. Not Josh Dobbs, where he's like back there figuring out the best throw. And if it's not there, okay, I'm going to scramble around. I'm going to run in circles, and then I'm going to get sacked. No, he doesn't want that. Like, even on that first down run that he had, I think yesterday, they cut over to a shot of Kevin O'Connell. It was like the first quarter, and O'Connell was like mouthing like, "Oh fuck." Like he missed something, but I was like, he just ran for first down.
Like, I don't think they want a guy like Lamar Jackson back there, like who's, he can throw. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think if he had that skill set, but he could throw, like, this would be like, you have to be able to throw in Kevin O'Connell's offense.
Yeah,
Josh Dobbs can't throw.
No.
He can't, not accurately. He can throw the ball wherever he wants, but ball placement, he got Justin Jefferson killed. He nearly got, I think
the most mobile he would go probably is like a Tua or a Mahomes. Like, those guys can move around and and scramble if they need to, but they're not a Justin Fields, they're not a Lamar Jackson, they're not, Anthony Richardson, which is hilarious too, because weren't the rumors that the Vikings were willing to trade up for Anthony Richardson if he was falling?
Well, I don't think I don't think he wants a pocket passer, but I don't think he wants this guy could just 90% of his runs or yards are runs. Like,
right.
He wants a guy like Drake May. He can stand in the pocket,
right.
but he can also run a little bit. Even like a guy like Jaden Daniels, he can stand in the pocket and he can run, and he's not afraid to throw it downfield because he's got a high big time throw rate according to Pro Football Focus. So I just don't think it's the, as simple as NCAA 14 where you just get a guy who's got under a 4.6 40 and you just run around with them and sling it all over the place. I think
it might be different too. Like if they got someone who was more of a mobile type quarterback and had a whole entire offseason, like OTAs and training camp and stuff.
Yep.
It's not, they've had like a month with Josh Dobbs, and you can't really Kevin O'Connell, you can't just throw his playbook because he has 10 other people in the offense that have learned this all year, and they're like, oh, let's just learn a brand new, which is what the Panthers are doing. Did you know that they started with a brand new playbook when they switched offensive coordinators? That's insane.
That's it was written by David Tepper, actually. He's like, I got some ideas, guys. Here you go.
I heard his wife has had some input too, which is interesting. But it was clear from the jump yesterday. They're like, okay, O'Connell, he doesn't want to run whatever they ran in Baltimore, option offense, RPOs back in the day, RG3.
What was his name? I'm trying to think. The old offensive coordinator for the Ravens, not the current, not
no,
Todd
I know.
Monken,
I can see him in my head. He was
Greg Roman.
Yeah, he was with the 49ers too, and they had Kaepernick. And that worked out well. So that's the thing. When they had Kaepernick, because they went from Alex Smith to Kaepernick, and that was the same offensive coordinator with the Niners, but they had a whole offseason to adjust and everything. So I could see something like that, but I think he's Kevin O'Connell. If they're going to draft someone, which right now I think they're bringing Kirk Cousins back. If I had to put money on it, because he might be a little cheaper with torn Achilles, coming off torn Achilles.
You know where this is going for me? Because this segues into my next point.
Okay.
I think Kevin O'Connell is too loyal.
Oh, for sure.
Here's why. So watching the game, and you may have caught this, you may have not, but the play-by-play guy, Kevin Kugler, had this quote about Josh Dobbs from Kevin O'Connell. And it said, I think a big part of this is that Josh Dobbs has been a guy that right about this time in his whole football journey, this is when people give up on Josh Dobbs. I wasn't ready to do that yet. I don't know if it's the quarterback background in me. I don't know if it's just my positive feelings towards the player in person because of what he did to basically save our season. I don't think it was fair enough. It might have seemed easy to do like everybody has always done to this poor guy, but I wanted to give him an opportunity after the bye with full-on coaching and more immersion in the system to be able to be successful as possible. He got Justin Jefferson killed.
He did.
Not killed, but killed. Okay. And why are you flashing your own career? I remember when Bill Belichick set me down and said, Kevin, this isn't working out.
Well, it's documented on Hard Knocks that when he got cut from the Jets.
About being a coach at all? Kevin, come on, man. Here's the thing. I think giving Dobbs the opportunity to start was not a big deal. I think it was a big, but why are you waiting until late in the fourth quarter in a 0-0 game?
Should have been halftime.
What do you need to see? What do you need to see?
It's he gave him one more chance. Okay, go in the third quarter and see if you can. You got one more. You got one more chance. You've sucked this whole game, but you got one more chance.
And he's sitting there on the sideline, just hugging him, just I'm really sorry. I didn't want to do it. Mike Zimmer would have just been get your ass out of here. You're not on the plane. I don't care. And I mean, I'm worried about this because of what it could mean for the future. You mentioned Kirk Cousins, right? And I think I agree at this point. Like, we've heard this before, but the quarterback class doesn't look as good as we thought it would be.
Oh,
It's like every single year, it's just like there's going to be 10 different quarterbacks. It's going to be insane. Teams are going to literally fight to the death to try and trade up in the draft to go get a quarterback. And now it's like, well, there's Caleb Williams, there's Drake May, and there's a lot of guys.
So do you think like when they go to like the Senior Bowl or they go on like pro days and stuff, Kevin O'Connell's just gonna be like, Quincy, what am I even doing here? I
want my Kirky.
I want Kirk Cousins.
I want my and what scares me is, we've joked about it before. Kirk Cousins is the Roman Reigns of the negotiating room. He is the head of the table. Yeah. Like he will sit down.
His agent is at least.
Acknowledge me with a $50 million guaranteed contract. And Kevin O'Connell be like, yes, here it is. And like, I'm wondering, like, where is the checks and balances here? Like, is Kwesi the guy stepping in and being like, we're not doing this. Yeah. We're not giving him $50 million guaranteed. You're coming off a torn Achilles. I'll give you 30. I'll give you whatever. But I mean, I have to sign Justin Jefferson. I have to sign Christian Darrisaw. I'd like to re-sign Danielle Hunter because I think that's on the Vikings radar, especially if they somehow convince Brian Flores to stay.
Like Jordan Hicks is a free agent too. I think I might like to sign him.
And I mean, here's the other quote that kind of scared. And we talked about this after the Bears game. This was Joe Buck talking. He said, Cousins, he tore his Achilles in Green Bay. He showed up either the next day or the day after at a club function on Halloween. And there he was serving meals on Thanksgiving. He is a special guy. He's someone that Kevin O'Connell is desperate to bring back. He's a free agent to be, but not as mobile as we'll see Dobbs here tonight. Like I am afraid, and like, I'm going to save it until we talk about Brian Flores a little bit first, but this does not sit well with the future. You need to have a way to build a roster around Kirk Cousins and giving him this astronomical amount because Kyle Shanahan's still drooling, even though he's got an MVP at quarterback right now. Not the way to go. Like, and so, I mean, games like this kind of make me go, I don't know, man. I think they're bringing back Kirk, and I think they're going to pay him way too much.
I got a sidetrack here because I just saw something and I have to show it to you.
Sure.
I'm just uploading it right now. This is this is really okay. The Giants are playing the Packers tonight in Monday Night Football. Tommy DeVito or whatever.
Hey, are they already playing? I thought it was a 7 start.
No, they're not playing right now. But I mean, it's the pregame stuff or whatever. So I just saw this online. This is Tommy DeVito's agent for real.
He's gonna give you some concrete shoes.
Oh my God.
That guy looks like he should manage. What's that dude's name in NXT right now? That's like the mob dude. Tony D'Angelo. Is that his? I think that's the hockey player. But
oh my God,
just like
so perfect.
Oh my God.
He gets guaranteed gabagool for the rest of his life.
I wonder if he just like was like, I'm going to be on national TV. I'm going all out.
Oh
I'm bringing the suit.
It's so perfect. That's like, that's Tommy. It's probably like his uncle or something.
Yeah. I mean, his mom makes his bed, so
she does a lot for him. But that's very common in the Italian family lifestyle. Dobbs, he should have been benched at halftime. Like it was very obvious. They had no points. They had I don't even think they had 100 total yards. What more do you need to see? Like, I think you're going to make these adjustments in halftime when we know like most teams really don't make any adjustments at halftime because they have like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Let's take a dump and get back out there.
Yeah. So have a couple Uncrustables and orange slices and get back out there. So Mullins really should have been the guy out there, especially because Dobbs wasn't getting the ball to Hawkinson. Addison was a ghost. Every time he threw it to KJ Osborne, it just bounced off his hands. I'm kind of wondering if those drops were partially because of Dobbs, either like throwing. There was a couple that just hit Osborne in the hand and he dropped them, but a couple that were maybe thrown probably not where they should have been. And then as soon as Mullins comes in, KJ Osborne, you can catch again. It's weird how that happens. He gets the ball to Addison. He comes in. He gets the ball to Hawkinson. He got the ball to Johnny Munt.
Does he have the same agent as DeVito, or you would think so?
No, Mullins has the same
Johnny
agent
Munt,
as
yeah.
Johnny Munt.
He's the mole.
Mullins has the same agent as Kirk Cousins, I believe.
Yes, the head of the table, head of the negotiating.
Yeah, that's his new Sean Mannion, which is fine. He's much better than Sean Mannion. So
that's Kirk Cousins. That's his bloodline. He's got Nick Mullins on one side. He's got his agent on the other. He's got
Sean Mannion
just chilling in the background.
And Kyle Shanahan
who's
is
like
the wise man.
Who's like the Sami Zayn hype guy who's just like going all like crazy with that, and then all of a sudden he just goes.
Gotta be Dobbs, right?
What's that? Yeah, it's got to be Dobbs. Dobbs is like the new guy that they like added in. They don't know if they can trust him, but
Kyle Shanahan's the wise man.
No, my name. Never mind. If you don't like wrestling, we apologize.
Yeah.
Like if it's his first time, like why are they talking about WWE? There's like been 10 since I've watched. No. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about the defense. You want to talk about the defense? Because I think the defense was really good yesterday.
They are good.
Kevin O'Connell actually called them a championship level defense.
During
his post-game speech. The Vikings earned their first shutout since a 16-0 win against the Packers on December 23rd, 2017.
I think it was a Saturday game.
Yeah, that was
Case Keenum doing the skull chant when he was leaving.
That was very euphoric. Just like Packers started Brett Hundley. Now they have the third coming of Jesus Christ, Jordan Love at quarterback. But Ivan Pace Jr. is the highest grade defensive player in week 14 coming into tonight's action. The Raiders were held to 202 total yards, and now the Vikings defense is 5th in points allowed, 11th in yards allowed, 10th in net yards per attempt, 5th in yards per carry, and 10th in turnover percentage. So here's my question. Let's go two ways. I was going to ask if the Vikings are a defensive team now, but do they have a championship level defense in your mind?
I mean, if you put this defense, let's just think if you put this defense with the Chiefs or, I mean, the Cowboys don't need it. Their defense is already good. The Cowboys or the Bills, you'd be a favorite for the Super Bowl easily.
Even if you had Kirk Cousins, I mean, the Vikings, I think, would really be cooking right now.
For sure. The Lions could use some help on defense. They have fallen far.
Oh, we'll talk about the Lions later.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it is. I think he is right. And he had to say that after yesterday when it's like, we got you 3 points. We needed you today. Really, really, really bad. So thanks for that. He's better be buying Brian Flores dinner like all week long. But it's for free at the facility. It's not the Cardinals facility. So
correct.
Do that.
Take him out for a nice steak at Mayonnaise or something.
Yeah, and I think and I think the cool thing is it's getting better. It's gotten better as the season's gone along. They've gotten pretty lucky with some injuries. I know Jordan Hicks is out right now, but Ivan Pace obviously has stepped in very nicely. Mekhi Blackman has really stepped up and made Kwesi second draft class look much better. Jordan Addison obviously in that as well. Sheldon Day has surprisingly been playing well the last few weeks. Just a guy who was kind of on the bench and kind of found I think he started yesterday. Daniil Hunter, DJ Wanham's having an amazing season. Conveniently in a contract year, so he'll get paid next year. And then Metellus playing out of his mind. They listed every. They were like all the positions he played, every position. So it's like, why don't you just say that he's played every position? Because I guess
he's a football player.
It's more aesthetically pleasing when you list 12 positions, on the field, 11 positions. But yeah, their defense is really good. The Raiders' offense, not that great, but they've been okay the last few weeks. Like they have Devontae Adams, they have Josh Jacobs. Their quarterback isn't god awful, but yeah, I know they'd played and the Vikings just held the Bears to what 12 points. Not that they have an amazing offense either, but they were able to contain Justin Fields and prevent him from really doing anything bad against them. So yeah, I do think it's championship defense. They just have to fix the offense. Like and they got 4 weeks. Like this is if you want to heat up going into the playoffs, that's the time to do it. Because you're on fire. Like look at the Niners. They look unstoppable right now, and they go into the playoffs like this. And look at the Eagles. They're going on the way down. They'll probably be in the playoffs, but no one probably thinks that they're gonna make the Super Bowl now with the way they've been playing. So I do think it's a championship defense. The offense just needs a lot of fixings.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at the comments right now. Loyal viewer, Digits, with a whole bunch on. They found it on the side of a truck, I believe he said. He said, Purple People Eaters taught we need more than defense just to win a Super Bowl. Then he goes on to say, the Vikings don't have a championship defense because they need a bigger offensive line to bully Philly and the 49ers.
I don't know. I think the offensive line's been pretty good this year.
I think he's talking about the defensive line.
Oh, yeah.
So well, I mean, it is a no-name defensive line.
I understand that, but the Vikings scheme, I think, makes up for that because they just are so blitz heavy and you don't know who's coming when or from where. I think that makes up for any sort of talent on the defensive line. And their rush defense is really good. Like even though they don't really have like a Pro Bowler,
a fifth in yards per carry, like I said, yeah.
So going against an offensive line like the Niners and facing Christian McCaffrey obviously is way different. But I would feel comfortable with them going against them than a lot of other teams in the NFL right now.
But they beat the 49ers already.
They did.
Without Deebo Samuel.
And listen, there's 4 weeks left in the season.
Right now.
Plenty of time for Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel to get hurt in a meaningless, week 17 or 18 game. And it ruined our Kyle Shanahan's like, it ruined our season.
Toss him into a crossing route for up 34, 44 points. I mean, I look at this defense. And I love what Flores has done. He basically created a brand new scheme. Nobody's really prepared for it. Nobody will be prepared for it until the end of the year, really.
Right.
And, at this point, I think, yes, he's suing the NFL. So, I mean, that is something to be considered. But, I mean, if people are kind of looking past that and going, yeah, but this dude's a really good coach. Like, we should probably, who else are we going to get that's better? I mean, there's Eric Bieniemy. People have been saying that I don't know what's going, some people might be using him to check a box off for the Rooney rule during a coaching search. I'm sure that happens.
That's always obvious when they do that.
But
they're like, oh, Leslie Frazier's coming in for an interview. It's like, okay, he's like 65.
Yeah. And I mean, there's also tales of Bieniemy going at players.
Right.
Like it's the Zimmer thing, right? Where you have, so many times that you rub people the wrong way. They're just but
he was under Childress, right? He wasn't ever with Zimmer. I don't think.
Correct. Yeah. I don't think he was here with Zimmer.
The team that they played yesterday, the Vikings, the Raiders, I would look at them as a possible Brian Flores destination because the Raiders are known for just doing whatever the NFL doesn't want them to do. So I would view them as a possibility, especially because their defense was good yesterday. Obviously, they held them to Max Crosby is insane. His knee was hurt.
He's playing on one leg too.
Apparently his knee was hurt. It didn't look like it.
Yeah.
He's really good. But yeah, I could see Brian Flores going to Vegas or something like that.
Like the thing with Flores leaving is it brings me back to my too loyal point because I mean, I was joking, you're going all in for the defensive coordinator. What are you doing? But at the same time, too, the draft class didn't turn out to be as strong as we had hoped. And by the time the draft hits, we could probably just be like, oh my God, this is so deep. Look at all this, 4 quarterbacks in the top 10. Just you're really going to spend a top 10 pick on Bo Nix, huh? Okay. Good luck with that.
I think the thing is with this defense before we went in the season, we were like, oh, if he can just get this defense to average, the Vikings are going to be good because the offense is going to be fine. We didn't anticipate Kirk
top
Cousins getting
10.
hurt, Justin Jefferson getting hurt, the offense, pooping the bed the last few weeks with backup quarterbacks in there. The defense is great. It's fine.
Yeah.
But this is the scenario that we didn't envision. So we're gonna be like, oh, if Brian Flores is leading, that means the defense is good. So that's good for the Vikings. And it's like it's
But
not because they need him.
But yes, and here's the problem. So like next year, let's just say, because I agree with you. I think right now, I think the money is on Kirk Cousins coming back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think maybe he'll use another team as leverage to get a couple extra bucks. That's just kind of how
They
Kirk
got to find a way
rolls.
to not put a no trade clause in there, though. They have to do that.
Correct.
They
Yeah.
have to do that.
Do not pull a Bill Guerin. Like I know you're not a hockey fan, so
No.
basically what Bill Guerin did
Well,
was
kind of.
he signed like 3 or 4 guys in their mid 30s to contract extensions, and he put no move clauses on each of them, which is basically a no trade. So then Jesse Pierce, friend of the Homer Horn, she hasn't been on the Viking Age. I want to get her on here once because she does some Viking stuff. So check her out.
They do the Before I Die podcast,
yes,
right?
Yep. So she asked Bill Guerin, she's like, why are you doing all these no move clauses? And Bill Guerin goes, they like them. You think?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, you're not getting traded and now you're getting paid. Oh yeah, dude, that's totally awesome. Yeah, where do I sign? Like
every player would want a no trade clause.
Right. Yeah. Like it puts the
power. Maybe not
okay.
Maybe not wide receivers, because they're like a week to week kind of happiness sort of thing where Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, I don't know, all those guys are like, trade me. No, I'm everything's fine. I don't know.
But it gets back to my point, loyalty, right?
Yeah.
Like Brian Flores leaves, Brandon Staley is going to be the defensive coordinator. That dude is getting fired, and Kevin O'Connell, damn well he's going to be like, hey, I know he's a good coach. I worked with him in Los Angeles where our families are good friends after bonding. I thought I'd bring him in and see what happened. Like, he's overseeing one of the worst defenses in the NFL in terms of yards allowed right now. And again, there's a really good piece by another friend of the show who has not been on yet, Lindsey Young, wrote about how they bonded over the COVID thing. But I mean, Mike Zimmer, outside of a few cases, there was no loyalty there. I mean, Case Keenum saved their season. He didn't give a shit. Stephon Diggs had the Minneapolis Miracle. Get your ass out of here. We're not throwing the ball more. Kevin Stefanski, Clint Kubiak, and I mean, it was good because it was checks and balances. And I think, like I said with the Cousins thing earlier, I think Kwesi is that checks and balances where if it does not fit financially, he's not going to bend over backwards to do it. That's why Adam Thielen, Eric Kendricks, and Dalvin Cook aren't on this team. Yeah, they probably would have liked to keep them. And man, we would be having some discussions if they did. But I mean, it's just the loyalty and like the undying player thing. This team needs checks and balances.
Yeah, I think his approach has been good for the team though, compared to what they came out of. Obviously, there's some adjusting, and he's only in his second year as a head coach, so he'll learn as well to not become maybe so attached to people. But that's kind of just the way he is. I feel like even just as a person, where he wants you to know that like if you're like the 53rd guy on the roster, he cares just as much about you as he does Kirk Cousins or something. Like that's just the way he approaches everything, which is fine. But there comes a time when you got to put your foot down and make a decision that is going to benefit your team, and not just because you're afraid it might ruffle some feathers with your friendship or something that you have with someone. It's business. Like it's to quote more wrestling stuff, it's best for business if you just go with the right choice. The thing is with Flores, I don't even know. Does he have like an assistant defensive head coach, or like who's somebody who knows the scheme that can just stay here and run the same scheme? Because like I feel like it's all just his like solo project.
But he pissed everybody off. Like that one guy went to Clemson. Mike Smith's gone. Mike Pettin, I don't think he's
there.
around.
He's there. Okay. He's the assistant head coach, but I don't know. So I don't know, like if there's someone that can kind of just like stick around, because I know when he left the Dolphins, there was another guy there who kind of ran the same kind of scheme, but then they fired him last year and hired the old guy. What's his name?
Vic Fangio.
So
right?
yeah, that's what, because I like this defense. I like it a lot. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Um, and you can't say that a lot about a lot of defenses, because you just don't know where anything's going to come. I guess he got it from, I think it's Pat
Yeah.
Narduzzi. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he
From
was
there.
he was at Pittsburgh, and
Right.
Pittsburgh has their
Oh
practice
yeah, they're right
facility
next to.
right
Yep.
next to the Steelers
Yep.
facility. So yeah, he
I
was
mean,
just
hire
eating
him.
some lunch and like, what's that?
Hire Narduzzi as your defensive coordinator. Come on.
Matt, in the FC, it's funny you mentioned that, because in the FCS landscape, there was some big news over the weekend. North Dakota State's head coach is actually stepping down from his job. You want to
Football?
guess what job he took?
Oh, some like shitty Division 1 coordinator job.
USC linebackers coach. I bet you he gets paid more there, though.
Yeah, he definitely does, and he gets to live in
Yeah,
Southern California. Um,
correct. As opposed to
he
Fargo.
who
Yeah.
didn't their basketball team just destroy someone yesterday?
Yeah, they played
A
like
school that has
Todd
like
to the
90
deaf and the
kids.
blind or something. It was like 114 to
Great
like
job, guys. But
or
that felt really
100 to
good.
14 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
felt really good beating, like
You
the
want to
kids
run
with.
through the Oh, go ahead.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say, like, the kids with cancer team, pretty much just a charity game. And just destroyed them. It's like, have you heard that? What was that? Was it Cardell Jones?
Mhm.
That tweet where everyone's so mad at me that I beat this kid like 100-7 in Madden. He's like, it was actually 121-7. Okay?
No mercy.
Yeah.
Probably the time of the kid's life.
Mhm.
You want to run through these injuries quick before we go to the playoff picture?
Sure.
Justin Jefferson, of course. I've been waiting to kind of drop this throughout the show because I don't know. I've never seen this guy, but Gronk goated had Justin Jefferson in his fantasy team. Just don't go to his mentions, man. That's
Yeah.
that's all we need here.
It's the
It
reason
was
why
a
it's called
chest
fantasy.
injury. What's that?
It's the reason why it's called fantasy.
Correct. It was a chest injury for Justin Jefferson. Kevin O'Connell said that tests were encouraging, so he is day to day. Vikings, of course, have a short week because they'll play the Bengals on Saturday. So we'll see if he'll get
Jake
going.
Browning.
Yeah, the Jake Browning against Nick Mullins, just as we all predicted. Brian O'Neill sprained his ankle. He was in a walking boot after the game. That is never a good sign unless you're Trevor Lawrence and have Tony Khan in your backyard, so you just drop some perks.
I mean, he got smoked a bunch of times by Max Crosby, so I'm not surprised that he got injured because he was just blowing by him.
There was that one too. He got a holding penalty on a sack.
Yeah, he was like falling down.
And Mark Sanchez said, "Count it in the foul."
Yeah.
Like, I like that call. I didn't like Sanchez overall, but I like that call.
Yeah.
Alexander Madison sprained his ankle. He's probably day to day, I would assume. Anybody else?
Didn't Dalton Reisner go down?
He did,
but he came back.
Yeah.
But that I wouldn't be surprised if he's like limited or whatever.
Yeah.
This week because he was probably running on adrenaline for the rest of the game. I don't think anybody. There was a bunch of people that like went down yesterday. I was like, geez, Louise.
Yeah, it was the football gods were trying to throw as many lightning bolts. Like, dude, it is not your year. Like, you need to stop this. Like,
and I think the Justin Jefferson thing was he went to the hospital just for like precautions. They wanted to see like if he did, break a rib or if something internal, like he lacerated a kidney or something like that. Like you can't tell from the outside, so you have to see that stuff. And I don't think that they assumed that he had a serious injury. I think they just took him to the hospital to make sure that it wasn't serious. It turns out that it's not. I think they described it as something like, I think it might have been Pelissero that described it as like bruising, just like a bruise, internal bruise or something like that. It's gonna hurt, but he can wear the Kirk Cousins flak jacket.
TJ Hawkinson did that.
Yep.
And like that dude is like a crash test.
And he had like 12 catches.
Yeah. He was flying all over the place. So,
and I'm going to assume that if Nick Mullins plays, he's not going to put Justin Jefferson out to dry in the middle of the field. But
yes,
maybe he will. But I think and at the same time, if Justin Jefferson doesn't play, they've played well without him. they've done pretty well. So if he has to sit out again, I know people are going to be mad, but would you rather have him healthy against the Lions than the Bengals, who a team you can probably beat without him? So
I feel like you're discounting Jake Browning. I feel like it's a punchline, but I mean,
he's been playing well.
Been playing really well.
I am discounting him because I saw him in training camp, 2 or 3 years ago when he could barely throw.
Yes.
He had to be lifted off the field because he threw like 90 passes in one training camp because he was the only quarterback.
Yes, he's smart.
He is playing well. I will give more credit to the coaching staff probably than I would Browning right now for how well he's playing.
So we have 4 games left in the season, and the Vikings are coming down the stretch. I don't know what kind of transition I was going for there, but let's talk about the playoff picture, shall we? Standings right now, number 1 in the NFC, the 49ers, they're 10-3. They're the NFC West leader, and they have a first round bye as the top seed.
I think they clinched the playoffs yesterday.
Good for them.
A spot. I think because they beat the Niners and they beat the
Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, they beat the Eagles and the Cowboys. They
didn't
Niners. Beat themselves, but they will when they practice too hard.
Yeah.
Coming into a playoff game, I'm sure. And then they'll be like, injuries, and like we would have won if nobody got hurt. I'm like, this isn't Madden, man. The Cowboys 10-3. Who gonna stop them? NFC East leader. They pounded the Eagles last night. Did you see the fight by those 2 fans in the concourse?
No.
Yeah, 2 dudes just swinging hands by the memorabilia.
Oh no!
Just to get one of the things went down. I was just like, watch the Kobe jersey. Watch the Kobe jersey.
Right?
Like that doesn't need to happen. Third seed, the Lions are 9-4. They're the NFC North leader. They lost to the Bears yesterday.
It should be 8-5.
Buccaneers 6-7 NFC South leader. They beat Atlanta. They jumped into that spot. Then you have the wild card teams, Eagles at 10-3, wild card 1, the Vikings 7-6 at wild card 2, and the Packers 6-6. They're the third wild card. They play the Giants tonight. So get ready to have your eyes pried open to watch Jordan Love once again.
Let's go to Vito.
Teams outside of the playoff picture, the Rams, Seahawks, Falcons, and Saints are all 6-7. So we got a logjam here, but
they lost yesterday.
Yes. Got a logjam here. But if the season ended today, the Vikings would face the Lions. Now you have 2 games left for the Lions. Haven't played them yet. That'll be Christmas Eve, the first one at US Bank Stadium. And of course, the last one. Are they officially doing the whiteout, or is that just your hunch?
No, they announced it.
They announced it. Okay.
Like a YouTube video and everything.
Well, that'll be fun. I still wish they would do a white helmet at some point.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool to go with it, but maybe down the road. So you would go to Detroit if the season ended today?
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
Scared of that, or
no, not at all? With the way they've been playing, their defense is just like ever since the bye, their defense just been giving up so many points. And if the Vikings can, and I feel good about the Vikings defense pressuring Jared Goff, because it seems like that's just the formula to rattle him. It's just give him pressure all day long, and he looks like Jared Goff, like his last season in the Rams, when he got let go or traded, I guess.
Sean McVay went to the I have the controller and I'm playing as you.
He would literally go to the line, which is pretty much what O'Connell did in Dobbs' first game, when they played the Falcons. I think the Lions are your ideal opponent in the first round, because you don't want to play the Niners, not right now at least, unless someone gets injured, because they are just pummeling everybody, offense and defense. And then the Cowboys look pretty good. I know the Eagles are kind of down, but most people were assuming that the Eagles were capable of beating the Cowboys last night, and the Cowboys destroyed them. And then the Eagles might be like the second team that you want to face if they end up winning the NFC East. Obviously, people are going to be like, you want to face the Bucks or the Falcons or the Saints, whoever wins the NFC South. Yeah, that would be good too, but I don't think the Vikings are going to.
You're not getting there with 4 games left. You're 3 games back with 4 to go. So
they would also lose that game. They would be the team that would lose that game. Be like, oh, the NFC South, a miracle! Like, what was that year? That was the Beastquake year where I think the Seahawks were 7-9.
yeah,
They won the division. They hosted the Saints, who were like 11-5, and then Marshawn Lynch just ran over everybody.
I miss that dude.
That was like 10 years ago. Oh man.
Actually, it's more awesome when he shows up now because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
It's just like, what was it? The slam ball tournament. He showed up and he's like, if this was Sonic, he'd had all his rings knocked out.
Like,
Like,
didn't he visit the Amish? I think there was like a segment before the Vikings game when they played the Eagles, and he like went and visited the Amish.
Yeah,
that was something. That was interesting.
So Detroit, I agree with you. Their defense sucks.
Mhm.
Like they got problems on that side of the ball right now. Their splits indoor outdoor are a little concerning. They're a lot better team indoors than going outdoors. And no matter what the Vikings do, if they somehow come back and win the division, I mean, let's see, they're 2 games back right now. So I mean, you beat them twice, and then I don't know, you beat Jesus Christ, the third coming on New Year's Eve.
Lions have a tough schedule too. They have to play the Broncos. They play on Saturday too. They play the Broncos, and then they play the Cowboys.
Yeah, they got to go to Dallas, right?
Yep.
Who gonna stop them? I'm sorry, that meme's so stupid. Who gonna stop him? Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen, Halen Hurst, and Andy Dalton. Who gonna stop him?
Didn't that tight end just get like amnesia or something?
Yeah, he got hit so hard, like he got. I mean, I'm making it sound like funny, but it's not
so bad.
Obviously. But it's just like he literally got hit so hard that he
forgot
developed amnesia. Yeah, like who he was and where he was, and like Hayden Hurst too. His story. There's
Didn't he have depression and stuff?
Yep, he had really bad depression and actually tried to commit suicide and stuff. So that's one of the guys you cheer for. From a human level, but. I mean,
man,
like outside of the indoor outdoor thing, like I need to see the Vikings be able to handle Dan Campbell before I just say, oh, it's just the Lions. Like Dan Campbell could be 4-0 against the Vikings. Like I will keep saying that until they beat Dan Campbell soundly, because Dan Campbell has had those games in his hands and he fumbled 2 away. So maybe that's another argument you could use that, hey, playing the Lions wouldn't be so bad. But I mean, outside of Justin Jefferson, I would take their entire offense over the Vikings.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Vikings have some good players, but I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Their offensive line.
Imagine them signing David Montgomery. I mean, but he's a running back and has no soul. So there's that. Yeah. Just nice looking offense there. The defense, a little sketchy.
And their backup, they got good backups too. Teddy Bridgewater, kid from Tennessee, your favorite. What's his name?
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
25. He'll be 26 next month.
He'll be 30 when he gets to play.
Yeah, when he's recovered from his ACL. So that's pretty much it right now. We'll see what happens with that. I have this on the outline, so I'll just ask. See the end of the Chiefs game. We have to be careful too. The owners of FanSided are Chiefs fans. So we have to be a little careful here. But
CEO was at the game yesterday.
Yes. And he was probably like, Tony's not offside. Since he's like 3 feet.
We had a company meeting today or whatever this morning, and he was in there, and he said he had his voice was lost because he was yelling at the refs so much yesterday. I was like, oh, yep. Mm-hmm. But I did see
when you're there, you probably can't tell.
If you have time, I don't know if you saw, but if you have time, go look up. There's a clip from Dan Orlovsky where he showed Kadarius Toney. That was not the first time he lined up offsides all game. That was the first time they called it. He lined up like 5 or 6 times throughout the game. That's just where he lined up, and he never checked with the refs. Like he never. Most guys will you see Justin. That's what those guys are doing. Like when you see Justin Jefferson or Addison or whatever pointing aside, they're like, I'm good.
They do that at the high school
level.
Like,
I'm good. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Sometimes they say you're good and then they call you. Those guys are fucking assholes. But that's what they're doing. And Toney never did that. And then he was clearly offsides. Like, I know Patrick Mahomes is pissed because that's a penalty they really don't call. And they had an awesome play that would have won the game. at the same time, they threw the flag before the play was even like going. So it wasn't like they threw the flag after the play and they were like, "Oh, we think he was offsides."
Well, and in his mind too, I'm sure he saw the flag and was just like, "Free play,
Yeah.
let's go."
He thought somebody
And
else was
threw
probably
it
he thought a
downfield.
Bills player was probably offsides. But
Yeah.
and then, Travis Kelce's legacy is just his Hall of Fame legacy is tarnished now because of that play. You won't be able to watch that on
Nobody will.
NFL
Sorry.
films. It's gonna ruin Mahomes' legacy. Like, guys, this is like you guys get so many calls. Like your the ref, when they played the Vikings, told your cornerback to put his helmet back on because he was gonna get penalized if he didn't do it. And you're like, "Oh, the refs are out to get us." No, come on. Come on.
I think the most entertaining part of this is like the overreaction
Yeah.
of Chiefs and national media right now. So like, yeah, there's the whole like nobody will know who Travis Kelce ever was now that that play's gone. Like he's not dating
Right.
Taylor Swift. Like, by the way, Baron Corbin hanging
Yeah.
out with
Yeah,
Taylor
there you
Swift in the Chiefs. I wonder what that conversation. So, what do you
I
do?
think
Pro wrestler.
well, I think
Oh,
he's where did he get well, he played in
he's
the
a big
NFL. He
Chiefs
played in
fan.
the NFL.
Yes, he was with the Cardinals and the
Yeah,
Packers, I believe.
he was like roommates with McAfee. I think he was with the Colts
McAfee.
too.
So he was with the Colts too. Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, so I want to say he's friends with Kelsey, I think. He somebody had to be for him to get in there. Because I have to feel like the Kelsey suite's probably got a pretty high security these days.
I'm sure it's a blast.
Oh
though.
yeah. Once you get in
Just
there.
looking around. Yes, once you get
Once
in,
you go through like the 9 metal detectors that you have to go through to get in there.
Yeah, I mean that too. And then they're like, well, now Patrick Mahomes is gonna have to play a playoff game on the road.
Oh no.
No.
Like peasants.
Oh
like
no.
those peasants. He's not gonna have
You know who has a road playoff win?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He's even gonna be on the Manning cast tonight.
I did see that.
And
I'm
everybody's gonna be
sure
like-
he's not gonna say anything about his contract.
Right.
He's gonna they'll be like, "Oh, Kirk, you're gonna resign Minnesota." He's like, "Oh, I'd love to. I love Minnesota. I love being here. Everything about this place is the best." He's gonna say all that stuff.
I would love it even more if I got $50 million a year.
I'm sure he'll have
yeah.
some. Who's playing that? The Packers and Giants.
Yeah, which
And then
the
the
game
Dolphins
is that for?
and Titans? Why are they
Yes.
playing at the same time? What is
money?
But wouldn't you make more money if they were playing at separate times? Or
yeah, maybe. I if you do a late Monday night game, nobody will
start
watch
the other one
though.
early. And like
4 o'clock.
Didn't they do that with like the Jets and
like COVID years?
Well, they did that with like the Jets
Yeah.
and Bills earlier this year. The first
Yeah.
one in it when Rodgers got hurt, the game started at like I want to say 6. Well,
it's a moot point anyway. We're gonna be watching CM Punk like talk shit.
Supposed to
Seth
decide
Rollins.
tonight
It's gonna be
if
great.
he's gonna go to NXT or not.
Where is he gonna sign? It's the
OVW.
other big contract. I'm going back to AEW.
Oh, OVW.
Yes, I know OVW.
Okay.
Yes. Let's close it here. What do we got going on in the Viking Age?
We're just trying to make sense of everything that's going on, just like everyone else is. I feel like. I think we're gonna do mock draft this week. Somebody will do it. Just kind of reactionary to the expected Dobbs benching, because I think we're all assuming that's going to happen. And then kind of look ahead, maybe some players that should have. We'll look at some players that should probably have some less playing time, Dobbs included. Greg Joseph, how are we feeling about him? Like, he made the field goal yesterday, but he also missed one. Speaking of loyalty, like they have been probably too loyal to him.
Then there was that punt that at the end of the game.
The pooch kick or whatever that was.
Yeah.
That they didn't kick to the side. They just kicked in the middle and then almost gave up a kick return because they had the field goal team on the field.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, maybe have some guys who can actually, cover a return in case that happens.
Some ideas look better on paper than they do.
Yeah, I don't know if
in real life.
And I think Kevin O'Connell, that was another instance where they panned to him and he was like, "What the fuck?"
You called it,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. No, I think sometimes those guys have free reign, like the special teams coach. It's like, okay, we're gonna if you see something, run this. Because I think the Niners yesterday, the punter, I think Shanahan said after the game that the punter called like their fake himself because he said he either like bobbled the ball or he saw something different, and he ran for like 20 yards. Um, so sometimes that just happens. But yeah, I would think yesterday that thing was planned. Viking Age, just all the fun stuff, previews, matchups. And I'm starting to look at some end of the year stuff too as well, like kind of the top moments that have gone through the year. Looking back, kind of like forgetting, like, oh yeah, they fired Ed Donatel, they hired Brian Flores. There was that whole, all those free agents that didn't come here that we wanted to come here. All the rumors about the Vikings trading up in the draft. The quarterback Netflix series. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in the last year that we forget about. So that'll be fun to kind of look back and reminisce about some of the good and bad memories. But yeah, follow the Viking Age on Twitter, well X, and Facebook, and also subscribe to this awesome YouTube page.
And where can people follow you on social media?
Adam Patrick NFL on Twitter and X and Threads. Threads is hopping now. You can do hashtags. So everyone's Ian Rappaport's on there, Schefter's on there, Woj is on there. I saw somebody labeled it the mass exodus is happening right now. So jump on the Threads boat while you can. It's a lot more pleasant over there right now than Twitter, which isn't saying much, but it's just for now it's a better time. And I was on there more yesterday during the game than I was on Twitter, and I had a much more enjoyable experience. But yeah, go follow me there if you want.
Well, that's all the time we have for the Viking Age podcast today. By the way, you can follow me at the real Chris Schad, Threads. I got to get on the Threads thing too, because I don't know, like you said, it's just kind of more enjoyable experience, but well, we'll get there. That's all the time we have for the Viking Age podcast today. Do this every Monday with a late week episode right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're also on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, don't forget to rate, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can send the word to the masses. For Adam Patrick, I am Chris Schad. This has been the Viking Age podcast.